What is up, duelists? Arts and Crofts here again with your daily dose of Yu-Gi-Oh! GOAT format action. Today's feature match, we got Ash is Spicy versus Thalas777. One or both of these players have been featured on this channel before, so good to see them back and still cranking out games here at the top of the Dueling Book GOAT format ladder. Let's get into it. Ash is Spicy is going to lead off with the RPS win, choosing to go first as expected. And they are going to lead out with a man with Widjat, a little spicy card. If you're in the GOAT format Discord, you'll see Ash's Spicy chatting about this spicy new tech that they've been trying out a bit. So excited to see it here on the ladder for the first time, debuting on this channel. Thalas here going to lead out with a Thunder Dragon, so potentially a little Chaos Turbo mirror here for you all, just with one deck running a spicy little 1600 attacker. Thalas is going to go T-set pass. Asher Spicy gets to their turn. Man with Widjat during the standby phase gets to trigger. You can select one set card on your opponent's side of the field and look at it. So it gets the choice between the set monster or the set spell and trap, and they see that it is a Gravekeeper Spy, so something that can wall out this man with Widjat if Asher Spicy has nothing to deal with it. I'm going to go Jar of Greed to dig for some cards. Double Jar here out of Ashes Spicy. Graceful to continue to dig, probably trying to find a Nobleman of Crossout so they can get a little bit more aggressive here with their monsters, and they're going to discard a Magician of Faith and a Phoenix Wing Windblast. The eternal discussion in Chaos Turbo strategies, of course, is are you going to play Raigeki Break or are you going to play Phoenix Wing Windblast? The general consensus, I would say, is Windblast is better in kind of the more aggressive focused Chaos Turbo decks. Generally, for like main decking Kaiku, I always say that's a good way to know that you should probably be playing Windblast instead of Raigeki Break. But here, Ashes Spicy, I think when you're main decking essentially a pretty offensive monster in the form of a man with Widjat, I think playing Windblast probably makes more sense because it can allow you to, it's more of a tempo card than Raigeki Break, and it'll allow you to beat in with guys like this. But Windblast hits the grave. We're just going to add a set monster and a back row pass here, the Spy being able to wall out the man with Widjat. And Thalos is just going to go ahead, flip summon that Spy, summon another copy of itself out, at risk of dying to the man with Widjat next turn, so we'll see if they have any way around that. We got Nobleman Crossout, Bluff set, turn 1. A little bit interesting. Don't see that every day. That will banish the new set monster, which was Magician of Faith number 2, the first one being pitched. And looks like Asher Spicy is running the full triple. Thalas either has one in hand or is just running the one. We're gonna get Tribute Summon for Gravekeepers, or Tribute Summon Gravekeeper, or Tribute Gravekeeper Spy to summon Thunder Dragon, which goes toe to toe with the man with Widjat, but not an amazing trade, I would say. But I mean, I guess it's fine because you have an extra card from the Thunder Dragon and an extra card from the Gravekeeper Spy. So if you want to trade both of those to get rid of a man with Widjat, that's like net neutral in card advantage, except you're still stuck with this face-up Spy. That's probably not worth a full card. Either way, the trade's going to come through. I think you're totally fine with that if you're Ashes Spicy. And just going to pass turn there for Thalos, hoping this Spy can protect them for a little bit longer. Snatch Seal here on the Spy, though, to open things up. And we got Tsukuyomi to steal it for good, reset it, and then probably summon out some Spies of their own. So really nice, massive tempo swing there out of Ashes Spicy. I'm going to go ahead and summon the second Spy in attack position and get in for tons of damage this turn. This is 3,500. Straight to the dome with an empty back row. My screen may have froze. No. What's going on? Okay, we'll just forward right back to that. Sorry, guys. We weren't too far into the game anyway, so not the end of the world. Make sure we hide those hands. Yep, Widjat, blah, 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 blah. Thunder Dragon. We get an instant replay of all the exciting stuff that has happened so far. We see the spy, double jar, graceful. Now graceful discarding a faith because they had a second one in hand. But now when it gets hit with the they go ahead and set the other faith and it gets hit with knock. So you might have wished that you kept the other one in hand there, especially because you hadn't tested your opponent for any sort of set monster hate so far. But yeah, that knock comes out. Thalos smartly flipping the spy before you knock, right? You don't want to knock your opponent's spy and then you have no targets in deck for when you flip yours. Just a little micro optimization there, but a pretty important one when you're playing in these turbo mirrors. And then this is, I think, where we were at, right? Tribute. Pass. All right, yeah, then we get the Snatch Steal, Tsukiyomi hidden for 3,500, and all is right with the world. We're back where we should be. So Thalos almost down to half life. You got a couple spies bearing down on you, potentially the promise of more if they want to go for that Tsukiyomi loop again. How are you going to respond to all of this aggression? No spies of your own, really, to block. Unless you got another one in deck. I'm going to go set a monster, set a couple pass. This is going to be enough to stem the tide. Ashes Spicy has a Thunder Dragon to thin the deck a little bit further. Get some discard fodder. Nobleman of Crossout here to deal with the set. It is a Sinister Serpent, so one of the most effective balls in the game. Has been dealt with permanently here by this knock. And that opens up the door for spies to get in, but Thalos does have the Mirror Force to deal with it. So preventing the aggression for now, but you're not too upset with that if you're Ashes Spicy, because one of these spies wasn't even yours anyway, right? In phase 2, we're gonna get set a monster pass though, so tempo still slightly in Ashes Spicy's advantage, and obviously quite the large life point advantage as well. So Thalos still back of it against the wall here, but was able to stymie the aggression for a little bit there. Thalos does have a Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning in hand, though that is going to get slammed here in defense position and banish the set monster. It was a Dekoichi, one of the few common sets in the deck that had not been hit with an Nobleman of Crossout yet. And the classic 1-2 from Turbo, summon a Chaos Monster and set something as well. Very hard to deal with for most decks in the format. They're going to go ahead and summon Breaker the Magical Warrior to try and clear out this back row. It is another bluff set knock. Okay, so Thalos seemed to very much like that play this game, but not working out too much the second time around. Knock will get hit, and now if you're Ashes Spicy, especially game 1 when there's unlikely to be Mind Cons in deck, most of your sets are going to be pretty safe from here on out. Breaker's going to go ahead and attack the set monster, which is the Magician of Faith that we assumed was in hand from before when only one got banished off of the knock. And just a knock to regrab, though, so what I said before at Ashes Spicy's sets being safe isn't exactly true, but at least you know about the knock here. In phase 2, we've got Duo to try and rip out stuff in hand. Hits a Tsukuyomi. Okay, interesting. And they're going to go and discard the last remaining Thunder Dragon, which is totally fair. And we know the last card in hand is that Nobleman of Crossout. However, Ashes Spicy, you're up a ton of cards, but you don't have an answer to this Blackluster Soldier. So he's going to start being able to plus starting next turn. Thalos draws for turn. We're going to go aggressive, not going to go for the banish here, playing into potential Mirror Force, but you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And it is the Mirror Force, so Thalos immediately regretting the slightly greedier decision here. And the BLS that Ashes Spicy really had no other answer for is just going to get taken out by this Mirror Force. So really happy here if you are Ashes Spicy. And your Breaker stands alone. Set back row from Thalos. Is it the third bluff set knock of the game? That'd be kind of funny. We got Tsukiyomi here just to pile on a little bit more damage. 2,700 right here. You know, you don't have Mirror Force to worry about. It does play into potential Torrential Tribute, but you're probably fine with that anyway because you're still up a bunch of cards. This way, though, you do have a little 2-turn clock thanks to the Suk plus Breaker, and that represents lethal damage next turn. So Thalos, you got to find it out here. Jar of Greed will help you dig for another one. Show me the bluff set, Nobleman of Crossout. Going for Sook, attacking for game, potentially. It's Raigeki Break, discard a Night Assailant. Okay, so potentially big play here. That will deal with the Breaker, the higher damage monster of the two, even though Tsukiyomi is probably more valuable of a card overall. And the Night Assailant effect will re-grab that Magician of Faith, which is kind of, I mean, I guess if you only run 2 spies, I can see it. But grabbing back spy seems pretty good if you have another one. But maybe Thalos is just only on double spy. But yeah, Breaker will hit the grave. Sook still gets in for 1100, but does not represent lethal next turn unless Ashes Spicy. Like on its own, Tsukiyomi does not represent lethal because you can't summon it into an empty board without it just flipping itself face down. So Thalos here, you've bought yourself one more turn with the help of that Raigeki Break. You set probably the Magician of Faith and a back row. Ashes Spicy, we got the Sook in hand. We're just going to go Upstart Goblin, which puts them out of lethal range from the Sook. Dig a little bit further into the deck, though. And we're just going to slam down a BLS of our own. Go ahead and banish it. It is that Magician of Faith. And do we have a normal summon? There aren't a lot of normal summons that can go for game here, but Dekoichi is a 2-turn clock. It's going to go ahead and beat in with the 1400 vanilla. You can always reset it next turn with Sook if you want to dig anyway, so the normal summon here is totally fine. It applies the pressure, drops him down to 300, and now basically every monster in the deck can finish your opponent off, except for like Night Assailant if Ashes Spicy is running those. And Thalos is just going to concede, yeah. So game 1 here to Ashes Spicy on this Man with Widjat, spicy, aggro-ish turbo list. Pretty cool to see. Thalos just didn't really have too many answers to the aggression. Slammed to BLS at one point, which Ashes Spicy didn't have an immediate answer to. But then Thalos just unfortunately running it right into a Mirror Force, and by that point the game was basically over. But we'll go to game 2 here. Thalos will start us out with a T-set pass. No Trinity to start out for the second game in a row. So not drawing, not rolling super high here with the opening hands if you're Thalos. Ashes Spicy, we've got Thunder Dragon here. So rolling a little bit better than Thalos, most likely. I spoke too soon. Looks like they opened double Thunder Dragon in hand, but they have the Pot of Greed to potentially make up for it. Dig a little bit further. We're just going to normal summon Dekoichi, attack the set monster, which was another Dekoichi, so that'll cycle for a card. But Ashes Spicy kind of signaling maybe you have like Book of Moon or Tsukuyomi in hand, potentially, and just wanting to play around potential Nobleman of Crossouts or Mind Controls with the normal summon. So interesting play, but something that's relatively common in these Turbo Mirrors post-set. You got a set back row to protect. The risk of just normal summon to Koichi is that it's pretty easy for a lot of monsters to just beat right over it. So if you're going to go for this play, you generally want to have something set behind it to protect it in case Thalos has a big monster to get right over it. Thalos is going to fire off another Jar of Greed, draw up to 7 cards in hand. And then Breaker here is a good way to deal with this Dekoichi. Breaker effect first. No reason to wait because you can still beat over the Dekoichi no matter what. It is just a set Jar of Greed though, so Ashes Spicy making the interesting play of just normal summon Dekoichi with no way of protecting it. And Breaker's going to be able to beat over it here. So getting a nice little like half card worth of advantage out of that play. But the Breaker is just standing alone here. And Ashes Spicy potentially telegraphing that they hit a Tsukiyomi in hand by going for the Dekoichi play. So this Breaker may not be long for this world. Let's see what Ashes Spicy chooses to do. Tribe Infecting Virus is an interesting play. We're going to use the effect, discard one of those Thunder Dragons we saw earlier. Unfortunately, not a free Thunder Dragon because they opened 2, but still good discard fodder for the Tribe. And this will clear the board for Tribe to get in for 16. Ashes Spicy with this more like aggro turbo list like we were talking about before. Definitely wants to start getting the beat down on as soon as possible, so using Tribe for that early on in this game. And we've got another back row pass here. Thalos, just a 1600 monster to deal with. You draw into your Thunder Dragon, so that does turn on Chaos, which is pretty nice. And you get some good discard fodder in your hand as well. It's going to go normal summon Tsukiyomi of their own. Easy way to deal with the Tribe. We'll see if Ashes Spicy has any way of dealing with this. Mirror Force to keep the Tribe alive. Okay. So Mirror Force just catching Tsukiyomi, but prevents the -1 from Suk just beating over Tribe. So trying to keep their beater on board, apply the pressure, especially when your opponent has 2 uncashed in Thunder Dragons in hand. You want to be the one pressuring their life points because you want to kind of exploit the awkwardness of having 2 somewhat dead cards in hand before they're able to cash them in via Graceful Charity or something like that. So I understand the play, even if it's probably not the most. It's not the sexiest Mirror Force you'll ever see, but I understand why you got to do it. Thalos is just gonna go set a back row pass. Ash is spicy. Flip some of that tribe. Get in for 16 again. That is a-okay from Thalos' point of view. And then we've got Soul Release in the deck. Okay. Quite interesting. So it can just banish the entire graveyard. Thalos, of course, was on Chaos, like I mentioned before, so this will get rid of all of their darks. Thalos still has double Thunder Dragon in hand, so they will still be on lights. Just will have to go negative in card advantage to do that. But all of the darks are gone from the grave now, which is quite strong. Then we'll go set a monster pass and continuing to apply pressure here with this tribe. Thalos, once again, you find your back against the wall. Has a Nobleman of Crossout to deal with this set, though. First one of the game out of Ash's Spicy. Because you remember they opted to normal summon the Dekoichi to play around knock, so you probably can't be too surprised when you finally set a monster, it ends up getting knocked. But now both players will be without the services of Spy this game. Thalos is running triple Spy, so kind of an interesting play from before. If you remember last game, they had their back against the wall. They discarded a Knight Assailant to a Raigeki Break, had the choice between Faith with only a Nobleman of Crossout Engrave, or the Spy with one other Spy in deck we know now. Chose the Faith. It didn't matter because it got banished to BLS anyway, I think. But in that scenario, you got to think Spy is probably the call. Either way, though, Thalos just going to go ahead, set a monster pass, get in the way of this tribe. No Spies to worry about here for Ash's Spicy. They got Minecon, though. It's one way to deal with the sets. It is a Magician of Faith, so what a blowout. Dang, Minecon, pretty good card against Turbo. Just going to go ahead and probably flip that Faith and grab the Pot of Greed to go up a bunch of cards. While you can continue to beat on in with this tribe infected virus, excuse me. Upstart to dig a little bit further. And then tribe effect to kill the Faith, because you know the opponent has Tsukiyomi in hand, so. Or no, Opponent did not have Tsukiyomi in hand. So did you really need to do this? It's kind of interesting. I mean, the Thunder Dragon's not doing too much for you, but I don't really see the need to do this right now. Most decks don't play double Tsukiyomi, right? I mean, maybe you're worried about Book of Moon. That's potentially real. Or maybe you just really want to make sure they don't have a blocker next turn, potentially. Either way, though, Tribe's going to get in for 16 again. This is a 3-turn clock as it stands. Couple back row to potentially protect it. And this Tribe has lived for quite some time. Alice here, we've got Snatch Steal on the Tribe. All right. Do you have an out for this? MST, the cleanest out, of course. So the beater stands alone. Thalos, you haven't had an answer to this just yet. We'll see. Just going to set a monster pass. No back row, so Asher Spicy, if you can deal with this, you'll get in another hit with the tribe. Jar to draw a little bit, and you had the Nobleman. Not too bad. Let's see what you banish. It's another Magician of Faith. Wow, so Thalos rocking the double this game. And now the rest will get banished from both players' decks. 2 there from Ash. Thalos either only runs the 2 or has the 3rd in hand. I think they're only running 2 based on what we saw banish in game 1, though. And now, once again, the board is wide open for Tribe Infected Virus to come in. Ooh, and we've got Chaos Sorcerer as well. No more potential Chaos monsters here, because all the darks are gone. But this is 3,900 damage right here. And if you have a Sinister Serpent, that's just game. Nope. So, but it is going to knock Thalos down to only 300 life points here with a really massive aggro push here. So final stand here from Thalos has Tribe, Sork, and 2 back row to deal with here on 300 life points. Both monsters representing lethal. You are gonna have a full grip of cards if you're Thalos, but back up against the wall. And Asher Spicy has the Trap Dust Shoot to play with perfect information, see what their opponent is rocking with, so their hand. So that Soul Release getting a ton of value, BLS kind of rotting in hand here with no Darks Engrave to use. And we knew about the double Thunder Dragon. We also see a hand of Tribe Infecting Virus, which is really, really good into this board. Well, it's good in the sense that it can out the Sork and then trade with the Tribe. Tribe not too good into opposing Tribe because it'll just kill itself with its own effect if you want to kill the opponents. But that's really the only thing that's in your way here if you're Ashes Spicy is the Tribe. So you can just send that back with the Dust Shoot and hope they don't draw gas off of this upstart, and otherwise you win. So that seems like the play. Send back the Tribe. Pray they don't do anything with the upstart. Let's see, did we get anything good? Nope, just gonna concede. There you go, 2-0 in this Turbo Mirror. Ashes Spicy takes it down. Really blistering gameplay, just getting as aggressive as possible with this deck that's kind of tuned more for Wind Blast than Raigeki Break, like I was talking about earlier. So good to see them getting down the beatdown. Looks like they drew Sangan off of that Upstart Goblin, so nothing that could deal with the board. A little bit flooded on monsters here, and like I was saying, Ashes Spicy smartly getting aggressive after their opponent resolved the Thunder Dragon because they had no way of utilizing them, right? And so you can exploit the opponent for playing these dirtily cards like Thunder Dragon by getting aggressive and forcing them to like not have any plays while these cards are rotting in hand before they can draw a way to utilize them. So really nicely played here by Ashes Spicy, getting aggressive both games and it paying dividends in both games. And they take it down 2-0. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will catch you all next time.